What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Taurean Rain Reloaded channel. And as you can see, we have another returning guest. Y'all already know who it is. You know, every time we link up to do a collab, you know you're going to get something good out of it. You're going to get some some comedy, some real shit out of this whole situation. So go ahead, Rob, let the people know who you are, just in case they aren't too familiar.
What's good, y'all? Appreciate y'all welcoming me back. It's Blacklight Revelations. As you guys know, I'm a YouTuber. Taurean and I have done several collabs in the past, and we're going to do several collabs in the future because I don't think any of these clowns are going anywhere anytime soon.
Unfortunately. Yeah, so as y'all can see by the thumbnail and the title, y'all already know we are back talking about this. Speaking of clowns, this right here is like the king clown added yet again. And one thing that I had was getting ready to ask Rob before I even started the recording of this video was, had he seen the video? And he told me no. And guess what? I haven't seen it either. And I'm sure many of you who are watching this right now, because I know many of you do not watch him, have not seen it either. But y'all can just about guess or assume that whatever he's about to talk about is going to be a bunch of BS.
Right.
And Rob, before we even get started, I'm not even gonna pull it up. When I went to go look for this video, which didn't even take me long to look for, he had another video that he uploaded that was right underneath that one. And the thumbnail in that video literally expressed how many of us feel about him every time we see his face or hear him talk.
It
was one of him, and it was one of him pretending to vomit. I said, you know what? The feeling is mutual every time we see you. That vomit feeling is the same thing we want or have whenever we see you.
He accidentally took that thumbnail in front of a mirror. That's what happened.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So let me go ahead and share the screen. So, in case y'all are unaware, today we will be talking about Fakum yet again. I know it sounds like a broken record, but like I said, if we listen, me and Rob could do like at least one collab a week. just pick one something out of his whole uploads from his channel and do one video a week just on anything that he talks about.
Anything.
But today he's talking about Colin Kaepernick. Now, for those of you who watched the live stream that I did last week, Colin Kaepernick, I talked about how Colin Kaepernick did a graphic novel, and in that graphic novel, he was calling out his white adoptive parents and basically talking about the discrimination he dealt with while living with them. And we all know that Colin Kaepernick, biologically, his mother is a white woman and his dad is a black man. So, you know, and then Rob, did you remember what his biological mother was saying like a couple years ago when he was doing the kneeling for the protest? Because she was one of the ones that came out and said, you know, she hated that he did this. And we're sitting here saying, like, lady, who are you?
No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I think his biological mother had showed up somewhere. They had found her and they interviewed her, and they was asking her, "What are you
trap house?"
Like, probably asking her what was her thoughts on her son doing the protest or during the kneeling during the national anthem. And she said what she said. We haven't seen her since, and probably rightfully so, because we really could care less about what she thinks, because I mean, you were never in this man's life, like, at all.
And she was kneeling too. That's how he got here. So she needs to stop.
Oh, see. Right. But yeah, so the name of Fakum's video is called Colin Kaepernick Calls His Parents Racist in Exclusive Interview. So let's see what they talking about. Well, what he talking about.
It's his true high school coming of age story, his journey embracing his blackness despite resistance from many, including his white adoptive parents.
I know my parents love me, but there were still very problematic things that I went through. I think it was important to show that, no, this can happen in your own home, and how we move forward collectively while addressing the racism that is being perpetuated.
Oh God!
Oh man! Whoa! He's mad.
I didn't even mean to pause it right there because I didn't know where it was going.
Be careful, black people! You about to get a spanking. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know. Man, listen, I almost fell out the chair. Oh man, he came out like he was.
He's charged, man.
He is
mad.
mad.
The electrical socket. He ready.
He is mad. And you know what my theory was? I said my theory was this, and I don't know if he's gonna say it in this video. We're gonna see if he does. Listen, I will be shocked if I'm right. But my theory was, I wonder if Fakum wishes that he was adopted by a white family. That was my theory. That was my ongoing theory.
He's got 2 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Let me run it back and just let it rip.
Or collectively, while addressing the racism that is being perpetuated.
The audacity of Colin Kaepernick.
We don't want to see your intro. Nothing but you just advertising your merch. We don't care about that either.
The grift.
Right.
All that other stuff. I want you to do the simple task. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you can do that, that will mean the world to me.
He sounded like he was about to have a whole damn heart attack.
Right.
The audacity of Colin Kaepernick.
And he's right. Like and subscribe to Taurean Reigns channel.
And to Black Light Revelations too.
Facts.
Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, Colin Kaepernick. I cannot stand Colin Kaepernick.
What?
Do you think that he can't? Do you think that he can't stand Colin Kaepernick because
Colin Kaepernick don't even know who the hell he is?
Colin Kaepernick actually lived the life that Officer Tatum wants. He grew up with a white family, and he actually does have a biological white mom. I mean, like, that dude is in total jealousy of Colin Kaepernick.
Right. Listen, we are only a minute and 30 seconds in of an 11-minute and 10-second video, and that's how he decides to start off. I can only imagine what kind of shit we about to hear. Like I said, me and Rob, this is both of our first time watching this video, and for many of you watching right now, this might be your first time watching it too. And that part that just caught us off guard like a minute ago, like literally almost knocked the wind out of me. Like, goddamn.
The audacity of Colin Kaepernick in this interview is crazy to me. And I say this all the time, how the struggle with biracial kids and their identity in America is problematic.
Wait a minute. Isn't your child biracial?
Interesting. I think he is. I think his
child is because his wife is white. And he has a child. I think he has a son. So your child is biracial. I can only imagine what you're teaching your child.
He's teaching his child that the child is white. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I guess that's the identity that Colin Kaepernick should have taken up. That
exactly.
You know,
we may be on. You might be on to something.
Because they have this conflict. They're both black and white. They got a black side. They got a mama side. I mean, black side, mama side. They got a black side. They got a white side.
What the hell is he talking? The black side and the mama side? What the hell was that? Was that a Freudian slip? What was that?
He glitched like
he
Bethany.
Did, because I'm like, his dad is black and his mother is white.
He got a black side and a mama side. And thank goodness he survived the suburbs and didn't end up involved in a familicide.
Right. This man, listen, this man is so quote unquote mad that he couldn't even get his thoughts together. Like, what?
Oh man, what's that lady's name from the Hill?
The Bethany Mandel.
Yeah, where Bethany at? Hurry up and ask him what woke me.
Right.
But then in society, they feel like they'll sell out if they don't embrace their black side, because society tells a mixed kid or biracial kid that he has to be black. And that's not necessarily.
Can we just correct that real quick? Society actually doesn't tell the mixed kid that. Actually, white people created that idea and then thought it was so brilliant they turned it into law.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was that whole one drop rule.
Again, and he's literally, in my opinion, right now telling on himself about how he raises his child.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see if he's going to bring that up somewhere in his minstrel rant.
Right. And honestly, like I've never seen or heard of mixed kids who grow up and feel that if they don't overemphasize on their black side, they're sellouts. Usually what ends up happening is mixed kids kind of are more balanced when they have a mom and a dad around, but usually mixed kids gravitate to the parent that raises them or to the environment that they're in the most.
Yeah, and also too, whenever I hear stories about kids who are mixed or biracial, one of the common things that I always hear is that the black side embraces them more,
Ye-
opposed to the white side is a
Yeah,
little bit
usually
more
it's
standoffish
the
to
black
them.
side usually will embrace them the most, but usually the mixed person will turn their back on the black side first.
Right? Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Necessarily true. You be who you want to be. You don't got to be stereotypically black, and you're not missing out on nothing.
Oh. He said you do not have to be stereotypically black and you ain't missing out on nothing.
Why would you be stereotypically black instead of just being black?
Exactly. I'm
You know
telling you,
what
this man's elevator doesn't go all the way to the top floor.
I'm saying?
It really doesn't. It literally is stuck. That thing is stuck in the basement. It's not
Yeah.
even on the first floor. It's in the basement.
Yeah, big facts. Big facts.
By trying to be black versus trying to be white versus trying to just be a biracial kid and live your life and be the best version of yourself. But Colin Kaepernick in his interview with this little book, this comic book that he's coming out with, it's such a grift to me. But I'm gonna let y'all listen and hold the phone.
He is also a new father who's spreading a message of empowerment in his new graphic novel, Change the Game, written with author and University of Chicago professor Eve L. Ewing.
I love how you depict yourself in this book, not as some big shot hero, but as a shy, insecure high schooler like we all were.
Growing up, I think still am a pretty introverted person. I hope it's true to form. And that's just kind of how I navigate the world.
It's his true high school coming of age story, his journey embracing his blackness despite resistance from many, including his white adoptive parents.
I know my parents love me, but there were still very problematic things that I went through. I think it was important to show that, no, this can happen in your own home and how we move forward collectively while addressing the racism that is being perpetuated.
How inconsiderate. And in my personal opinion, this could be an opportunity to give young biracial kids hope and say, yeah, I may be black and white. I can embrace both.
Yo, can you stop it for a second?
Go ahead.
All right, so he said some of the problematic stuff, right? And I haven't read any of this graphic novel or anything,
Right.
but I can tell you about a lot of the problematic stuff with mixed people. One of the problematic things is I saw him with the do-rag on, and I just had to laugh. That's the hair is automatically a problematic thing. You know what I'm saying? Like white parents gonna automatically have a problem with a do-rag. Colin Kaepernick is still wearing cornrows. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that that's indication of anything, but I'm sure they had an issue with him and any kind of hairstyle that he wanted to get that might have been a natural style like braids or whatever.
Yeah,
You know
he
what I'm
actually
saying?
alluded to that. He actually alluded to that when he was talking about it. He was saying how when he would have the cornrows that his adopted mother said he would look like a thug.
Yeah, and it's
he
like
said that.
Right, and it's like there's which is insane because the biggest thugs in the United States wear business suits.
Oh yeah, and carry briefcases.
And have pork pie hats. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and even if you're talking about politicians or if you're talking about like Scarface and mafia families, you know what I'm saying? So like the thing is that there's other things too, like Colin Kaepernick's hair. Not to go back to the hair, but just dealing with products, right? Is even though he's got the hair that mixed people have, that kind of texture, is still different than the kind of hair that his parents have. I guarantee you his parents just didn't have a wide variety of picks, you know what I'm saying, and brushes for him to be able to, like, you know, groom himself with. And, you know, if he said, I got to go get a pick, or I got to go get an afro comb, or I got to get this kind of comb, you know, white people be real weird, man. Like, they be fragile, you know what I'm saying? You'd be like, yo, I got to go get an afro comb to help deal with my hair. What's wrong with my comb? You have to use an afro comb? I mean, like, why are you bringing race into it? And it's like, seriously?
Exactly. And I've done and I talked about this in my live stream. I said I did so many videos where a lot of black people, whether they were adults or children, got discriminated still even in this day and age because of their natural hair. I've done videos where it was this little boy, I think he was like 5 or 6 years old. He had a part in his head, but it was like one of those designs, you know, how like a lot of boys get the designs cut in the head. Do you know that they tried to say that was a gang affiliation?
Oh, I'm sure.
Part I saw, it was a story that came out years ago where this young black girl was in class and she had her hair out almost like in an afro in its natural state, and she ended up getting kicked out of class because the teacher claims that her hair was a distraction. She claimed it was disrupting class. I'm like, if you felt it was that much of a disruption, then just put the girl in the back of the class if you feel her hair was too much for you. But it was a quote unquote disruption for her. She couldn't stand to look at it. And I've done so many other stories when it came to Black people and, you know, with their hair. And you look at Colin Kaepernick's hair, even though he is mixed or, you know, biracial, his hair texture is still of that of a person who was Black, who has 2 Black parents. You can look at that hair texture and it's very thick. It can turn into a fro. Like his hair texture is like the same as yours and mine.
Yeah. He's still got a pretty. He's still got a pretty thick, you know, a thick, coarse hair texture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like another thing too that I just wanted to add before I forget is that I don't think he threw his family under the bus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he threw his family under the bus at all. And the thing is that that kind of comparison is dumb, because all the people that saying that he threw them, he's throwing his family under the bus are people that didn't grow up in a multicultural family. It's all kinds of issues that you got to deal with growing up in a multicultural family. But like how they like to do, because unless they're benefiting from it, they want to take race out of everything. Let's take race out of it. All right, let's just do that for their comfort, you know.
And his is a very special case because he was born to a Black man and a white woman. He did not grow up with them because, you know, of the environment that they was in. It wasn't stable enough for him to be raised by them. Then he got adopted by a white family and then grew up in the suburbs. So imagine he grew up with he's born as a mixed child. Then he is getting raised by a white man and a white woman, and his siblings, his adopted siblings, are all white. And then he grew up in a white neighborhood, and so like that. I'm surprised he didn't have an extreme identity crisis.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. He's one of the few survivors of the suburbs.
And what I've said before is they are really upset because here you have this guy who was clearly mixed. He grew up in a white family who adopted him. His siblings are white. He grew up in a white area, probably went to white schools, and they're upset because he doesn't lean more towards his white side and more Black side. That is where they feel upset. And that's the part where a lot of Black people try to tell people who are quote unquote mixed or biracial, you know, what the deal is. Another person I think who falls into that category is she at least grew up with her parents, and that's Zendaya, because you know her dad is Black and her mother is white, but she leans more to her Black side.
Right.
So
and see, like the thing is though, like what if it was a different problem that he had to deal with? Like what if there was abuse in the family? Is that throwing your family under the bus? If you say, I know my parents loved me, but you know what I'm saying, there was some abuse issues there because I had XYZ problem. Like with my parents, for instance, right? My parents were married, or still are married, and they've been married forever. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been married my little brother's entire life. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not married to the mother of my children, and neither is my brother. So when we talk to our parents about certain issues that we may have with our family dynamic, they try to understand it as much as they can, but they can only give us, like, you know, help from a knowledge standpoint of being a father and being a mother, but not how to navigate, you know, split family dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So if I said, you know, I know my parents love me, but when it comes to this area, you know, the advice that they give is not really as helpful. That's not saying anything bad about your parents. Like clearly his parents raised him, you know what I'm saying? They clearly did a decent job raising him. He's successful. He's not problematic. You know what I mean? But the thing is that's just being honest. You're in a family that's all white people that's never been around Black people. There's going to be some issues there. That's not throwing anybody under the bus. It's just being realistic.
Yeah, basically society's trying to tell Colin to not talk about these good old white folks. How dare you? And that's what this fool right here in the bottom right corner is going towards.
Well, and it's also reinforcing the fact that white people are supposed to understand you better than you or other Black people understand yourself. Because if you're sitting there saying that, you know, white people don't have any inherent knowledge of how to deal with a Black person, that takes away from the entire narrative of them being superior and that they're needed for you to not be problematic.
Right.
Love my white side, I love my Black side, I can embrace both. But the problem is that he want to focus on one side. and talk about racism. Man, these people rescued you.
Rescued? What is he, a puppy?
Didn't you know, according to Officer Tatum, they rescued us all, man. That's transatlantic slave trade. That was the biggest rescue mission in world history. Didn't you never listen to Ron DeSantis or any of those guys?
And it's crazy what he just said right here before we even watched one iota of this video. I knew he was going to bring that up as a talking point. Yeah. I swear, like I tell you, if you closed your eyes and took a little bit of the melanin out of his voice, you would swear this was a straight up and down white guy talking.
Yeah. Do you remember that video that you did about, and I did a video about it too, about those two LGBTQ white men who rescued their children? Yeah. And they put their children through hell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if those children came out and did a Netflix documentary about the hell that their two white fathers put them through, would that be them throwing them under the bus? I mean, because they got rescued too. If we're sitting here talking about anybody that came through the foster, through children's services or the foster family system, they're all getting rescued.
Exactly.
You know, like,
where's your black side of the family? No.
Where's his white side?
Right.
What is he talking about?
Exactly.
Black side of the family.
Man, listen. Oh my God, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Where's the mom? The mom was kneeling first. Kneeling is genetic, clearly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. That's like that. Man, listen. I can't with this dude. Not.
Where's the black side of your family? Come on, Colin. Where's the black side of your family at? Where are they at?
I got a question for him. Where's the black side of your family?
I got a question for his wife.
What have I told you before? Huh?
I got a question for his wife. Does she ever listen to everything he says about black people?
I think someone has said that
their relationship.
Someone has said that his wife is like his producer or something like that. I don't know. I really don't care. But where's his black side of the family? I keep telling y'all, these Sambos and these Sambets, we never, ever, ever see their families. We never see their parents. We never see their mother, their father. A lot of times we don't see any siblings if they have them, any cousins, none of that. I don't know what his parents look like or their names. Candace Owens, I don't know who her parents are, what they look like. Who else? I mean, I could go down the list.
His parents looked at him and said, nope.
Right. They probably tried to push him back in.
Right.
The white people took you in, took care of you, gave you a great life, put you in sports, and then the thanks that they get is you turning on them to be a social justice warrior.
That's another word I'm tired of hearing, because that's right up there with this new version of woke for me.
Yeah.
That's right up there with woke for me, with this new version of it.
Facts. He just validated everything that we've been saying. So again, Colin Kaepernick didn't even come out hard on his parents. All he did was just, say that there was a couple problematic things because of cultural differences.
Exactly.
So any white accountability or any white correction, that's betrayal.
Exactly. He made it seem like Colin got on this interview and started cussing his parents out.
Yeah.
Or like completely saying, I'm going to disown you, or I'm taking you out of the will. You ain't ish to me. You're dead to me. Like, he made it seem like he said all of that. All he said was, he even said, I love my parents, but there was some, things that going on inside of the home that, because of who I am, demographic, right, like racial makeup, that needed to be addressed. And he did it in the best way he knew how. He made it seem like he wrote a tell-all book, completely doing a scorched earth on his adopted parents, which he did not do. And my thing is this: I haven't heard anything from his adopted parents of them being upset with what he said. If anything, they probably, called him and, said, okay, let's, have a conversation about it. Or for all we know, Colin probably went to them first before he did this and say, look, I'm about to do this graphic novel. I'm putting this, and this in here. Is this going to be an issue? They probably went over what he was going to say and said, you know what? Go ahead and tell the story, in a very classy, way. We don't see that you're coming at us in any type of way. Go ahead and do it. But this fool right here, he doesn't take all of that into consideration. All he saw was this biracial man who leans more towards his black side, talking down on the quote unquote people that saved him. His words, not mine.
Right. And honestly, like, I ain't trying to be funny, but like I'm not trying to say this as a slight at Colin Kaepernick. I don't really see Colin Kaepernick as a mixed person that leans slightly more so towards his black side. Like, I see Colin Kaepernick as a mixed person that's actually honest about his identity. Because the thing is that if you're a mixed person and you acknowledge your blackness, that doesn't make you lean more towards your black side. That just makes you're being honest about your ethnicity. You're not being dishonest like how Latinos are. You know what I'm saying? You're actually saying like, yeah, you know, like, I am a black person as well as I have white ancestry and white heritage. And, you know, there's really no need to concentrate on the white ancestry or white heritage because it's constantly forced down your throat everywhere you turn, all over the place, every day, 24/7. You know what I'm saying? It's the black side, and he's showing that he's not ashamed of it. He's unapologetically mixed and embraces his black side. And to me, like, that's respectable.
Exactly.
I just can't believe if my son ever grew up and was like this. I can't say that because I'm black, but if I adopted a black kid that was biracial, then you ain't black. You ain't 100% black. You're biracial. I adopted a kid like that and I raised him up right, tried to do what's best. And then he turned around and turned on me. You know how mad I would be?
Listen, I won't be surprised if his own child would turn on him.
Quite
honestly,
that's currently what he's doing right now in his entire YouTube career with his parents.
Yeah.
We raised you, did the best that we can, and you mad because you couldn't have cornrows.
Is being perpetuated.
He took cues from his icon, basketball star Allen Iverson, who he said wore his blackness like a suit of armor. And teenage Kaepernick wanted cornrows to match. He's getting what roles, his mom asked?
Oh, your hair's not professional. Oh, you look like a little thug.
You do.
Get it.
No, actually, you don't. And
Right.
I can tell you that you don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't usually not have my hat on when I'm on live with Tony, but I got cornrows and I've had cornrows my entire life. You know what I'm saying? If people can find childhood pictures of me, they'll see childhood pictures of me with cornrows. And I have a professional job. I've always had a professional job.
Right. And look at this buck dancing face he made.
Yeah, that should be on a can of rice or on a box of grits or something.
Right. replace Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
But it's funny too because when I go into work and when I get like fresh new cornrows or whatever, I get so many compliments, especially from a lot of the ladies who work with me at that job. And they're all one of the first questions they'll always ask me is who does my hair. Some of them will forget who I tell them, like, because I usually leave them in for like a month and then, you know, take them out. Like I have them out right now because I'm getting them done again this upcoming Wednesday. Of course, by the time this video goes up, I'll already have them in. Right. But I always get compliments. I never had anyone tell me that I look like a thug. Like no one has ever told me that.
Try coming in with a top hat, a business suit, and a suitcase and see what they say.
Exactly.
Your hair is cornrows isn't professional. Show me people that are in top levels of government that got cornrows.
They probably don't have cornrows because many of them don't have the hair texture in order to pull it off.
The government isn't the standard of what professionalism is either.
Exactly.
That's his standard.
To him, it is.
Yeah.
To him, it is.
Because there's people at Google that work there that wear, you know, tank tops, tie-dye, you know, sandals, all kinds of stuff. And these are people that are in Silicon Valley.
Exactly. And it's people who have the low cut like he does who could be considered as a thug.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
The first black president, Obama didn't have no cornrows, did he? No, he didn't. Show me somebody in the upper echelon of success in this country got cornrows in their head.
So now Obama's a black president. So we're going to compare a mixed guy to another mixed guy, but we're going to call the one mixed guy black.
Right. He has no clue what he just did. He completely contradicted himself. But you know, they tend to do that a lot.
They didn't make money overnight. rapping and entertaining. I'm talking about somebody who built from the ground up. They built a successful 8-9 figure business and they got cornrows in their head.
Master
Explain it.
Right, Master P. But notice he said that's not a rapper.
Master P didn't have a rap business at first. At first, he had a scholarship to the University of Houston to play basketball, and he owned a business in his city. I think he actually owned a store where they sold, like tapes and vinyls and stuff like that.
Right.
And to me, now it don't mean it's a bad thing, but they not lying to you. It's not bad for your parents to say, "Man, you shouldn't wear no cornrows." Allen Iverson can wear his blackness because is playing basketball. He also got tats all over his neck. You can't do that in America.
Police officers.
Thank you.
Look, like this dude is a clown. Matter of fact, speaking of thugs, police officers have gang tattoos all over their bodies in case Officer Tatum's not aware.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, when Micah Johnson, did what he, did his thing back in 2016, didn't one or a few of those officers that he took out have like Nazi tats or white supremacist tattoos? So what is he talking about?
Nothing, as usual.
Of course.
In the corporate setting, you have to be presentable no matter what color you are. White people don't walk around with matted dreads.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Has he never seen a picture of the Google break room?
Oh, yes, they do. And that ish looks nasty.
Ugh.
It looks like a bird's nest.
It's a biohazard.
When they're in a professional work, they cut that stuff off.
Your mom said that to you.
Yeah. And those become spaces where it's like, okay, how do I navigate this situation now? But it also is informed why I have my hair long today.
The grown-up version of Eve wanted to go back in time and give young Colin a lot of hugs. And I was really moved and saddened by the level of kind of self-awareness that he had to develop at a very young age without a lot of guidance.
Why did you choose that day and to protest in that way?
That's actually something we're going to.
You see how he keeps making these facial expressions and how he keeps putting his hand in his head. That's what we do when we think of your whole existence, Fakum.
That's what his parents do every time they accidentally scroll down and see his YouTube videos. I bet you Officer Tatum's family.
That's probably the face they make every time every time he calls them. He's like, "Oh God, this nigga here. Do I answer or do I not?"
How much you want to bet Officer Tatum actually got like a fully black child out here running around that he doesn't claim, and that
would be one hell of a scandal. That would be one hell of a scandal. That would probably end his entire grift. I don't even call it a career.
You think it would? I don't think it would, honestly. I think those people really wouldn't care because he would just blame the mom and, going about his business and, they're idiots. So it's not like they're going to care.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it's night and day with his subscribers. He can say something like today that they'll all just flourish and agree with. Then he'll say something that's completely off the rails, which pretty much is everything. And then they'll be disagreeing with him. And then he'll try to clean it up by putting some out there mainly about us, and then they're being happy and joyful and twerking up and down the comment section like he didn't just say something so disparaging like 2 days before that, and y'all were just mad before. I can't take his comment section either. His subscribers are just as dumb as he is.
Yeah, they're dumb. They're a shining example of situational standards and ethics.
Right.
Dive deep into with the doc that's coming this fall.
We're going to dive deep into, but okay, it's a money grab. Okay, I don't want to talk to you now about the interview.
Oh, please. What you do is a money grab every day. You have a lot of nerve to say that. You are one to talk.
Right. Right. And here's the thing, like everybody's out here selling books. Everybody's out here trying to make money. Literally everything is a money grab. Your job is a money grab. Like,
you know what? I'm speaking of books. I wonder, has he done a video about Bethany Mandel?
Who is that? Tatum?
Yes, I wonder, has he done one on it? Because I know if he has, he's going to go more in on Breonna Joy Gray.
No,
how
he
dare
probably
how dare
video
she
chatted.
how dare she check this beautiful dandelion?
I was about to say he probably right swiped and video chatted with Bethany
Right.
Mandel.
I'm curious.
never
After
made
we
an
done
actual
recorded,
video.
after we done recorded, I'm gonna go and check and see if he did. I won't be surprised if he didn't. But if he did, he probably is going more in on Brianna than he is on Bethany.
You know what we should do? We should actually make we should make the video that he would make about Bethany Mandel, and it would have a picture of Brianna Joy Gray on it. And then as soon as it starts, like, you know how he just screamed out the audacity, like the first thing he was
Right.
saying, she was attacked. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then we could go into his intro and just act like Officer Tatum the whole time.
Right.
Because I got money to be made off that story. Okay.
Fall. But as it relates to the book, people may look at that moment and be like, oh, you must have been this person all along. And it's like, no, there's growth that has to happen.
No, there's manipulation that has to happen. See, you had a nice haircut when you were in college. Your parents couldn't tell you if you can grow cornrows or not when you were in college. When you first got into the NFL, Colin Kaepernick could have had cornrows. He didn't. It wasn't until he met that woman that.
Are you jealous?
Didn't I just
He's
tell
talking
you?
about he talking about his the woman he's with, the one that they say, you know, was the one that opened his eyes, quote unquote. I forgot her name. I think her name is Vanessa something. I forgot what her last name is. The one he has a child with when they showed the picture up there.
Is she mixed too, or is she black?
I think she's I want to think that she might be part Arab. I'm not entirely sure because her last name. I think it's her last name. Yeah, I forgot what her last name is, but I want to say she's part Arab. She is like a radio personality. I know she has done interviews, like she does or has worked with like MTV and VH1. She's kind of like,
she wasn't the one that interviewed Michael B. Jordan, though, was she?
No. Nah. No. But yeah, I think she's like a radio, like not a radio personality, but she does like interviews with like different celebrities and stuff. Like she's in that realm. She's in that space. Yeah.
Okay. Now, but didn't I tell you though? I told you he would blame the woman because that's just the type of dude he is.
Mm-hmm.
That want to explore blackness among black. And now he want to look like he want to have a Jerry curl.
A Jerry curl? What? A Jerry curl? You think this is a Jerry curl? My goodness. People don't even have Jerry curls anymore. Like what? They don't even sell Jerry. Well, they probably do. I don't know.
On the West Coast.
but that's not a Jerry curl. He just got his hair in a ponytail and he put some gel in it to slick it back.
Yeah, I was about to say this. I don't see the Jerry.
This is how you know this fool is so removed from his own blackness that he would think that is a Jerry curl.
Doesn't Officer Tatum always brag about how he's a Christian?
Isn't that the same talking point that a lot of the white supremacists use too, that they're Christians?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why he's so upset.
That's what the Klan used to do back in the day, right before they put a burning cross in a black person's yard.
Right.
That they were Christians.
Well, he got this dude up here
what they would do to black people right after or right before they lynched them. And they would read from that Bible.
Right. He should appreciate Kaepernick right here. He got the whole Jesus look going on. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I just it's
Will you continue to sit?
Yes.
Then Kaepernick couldn't get hired and even sued the NFL for collusion in a case that settled.
And then wanted to play in the NFL. You sued him for collusion, now you want to play back in the NFL. These people, I swear to God, these people, I can't. Oh my God.
Everything you just said right here after collusion is exactly how we feel about you.
Right.
Exactly the same. I'm telling you, all his mannerisms that he's doing in this video is the exact same thing that we feel about when it comes to him.
Is that like
on every level possible?
Right. Is that like Brett? Speaking of NFL players, I have yet to see his video about Brett Favre.
And you won't see one. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna probably upload it tomorrow. But I am uploading tomorrow. But I actually got an update about Brett Favre that came out a couple days ago.
Is it another update? Nothing happening.
Yeah, it's another that just came out actually came out 2 days ago. The judge has said Brett Favre is going to remain in that welfare lawsuit because there's not enough evidence to conclude that he should not be a part of it.
Oh, good.
So he's stuck in it because his attorneys they trying to get him out of it, and you know they're trying to say all types of stuff like that. But they said the judge said there's not enough evidence there to say, okay, we'll just not have him be a part of it anymore. He can just go and gallivant and live his life as he already was before this came about. But they said there's enough there to keep him there, and then all of his constituents had pled guilty. He still has not been formally charged though, you know, for, you know, his role in it, even though that he should have been charged, but we know how that go. But they said that he's still going to be attached to that lawsuit, so he's far from being off the hook.
He should be charged criminally, and he needs to serve federal jail time.
Exactly.
2020, what did it feel like for you?
Say his name, George Floyd.
To see everyone almost wake up.
Another great.
And he thinks that this is funny. You see how he just chuckled and laughed, and he said, "Wow."
Look at all of
well, you know what, Fakum, you're just upset that if something like this was to happen to you, no one's going to go out and march and protest for you. They're going to march in parade when that happens. Hey, Rob, you seen the movie The Wiz, right?
Yeah.
Remember at the end when they kill Eveline and they were singing Brand New Day? That's what's going to be happen when it happens to him.
Yep.
Question that'll be covered later this year.
Another question I can't answer because it covered later this year because I need to make money off of what I'm about to produce later. I can't tell you now in this interview because it needs to be money made on the backs of these dead black people.
Isn't America capitalist?
Exactly. It's called a marketing tactic, you fool. You should know that.
So nobody
do it all the time.
Nobody's supposed to make any money. Everything is supposed to be volunteer work.
Exactly, according to him, or anyone that he doesn't like Colin Kaepernick for whatever reason. I'm telling you, this man is hating. He is jealous.
Yeah, he's extremely jealous.
He wishes that he could be in Colin Kaepernick's position, but he is upset that he is not. He is regulated to this site.
Even in the fetal position inside Kaepernick's mom, he's jealous of that too. That little 9-month experience.
Okay.
I got a lot of great questions.
I appreciate the thoughtfulness.
Documentary.
I won't speak for Colin, but I think that in thinking about what impact looks like, it's so much.
What was that? Did you see that? Did you see that gesture he just did?
Yeah, he had another glitch.
Why did he do the chokehold motion towards her as if he was alluding to strangling her? I know that me and Rob were not the only one to peep that to those who are watching right now in the chat.
Abusive tendencies. He's a cop.
We're gonna be asking we're gonna be asking like if we ever see, you know, if anyone ever see his wife, we can be like blink if you are once if you are okay, blink twice if you are not.
We should tweet her and tag her in the tweet and hashtag safety word. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I bet you this dude is an abuser. For real. Like he's a cop. You know what I'm saying? He's got anger issues. Clearly want to choke the crap out of this woman. We should start and we need to rename him and start calling him Officer Beat Him.
Wow.
Bigger than changing one system or one league.
Because if he was alluding it to himself, he would have put the chokehold symbol towards his own neck.
And that's not the first time he alluded to violence either.
Oh, there was others?
Yeah, you remember in that video that we did where he was talking about Tyree Nichols and he was talking about how before he was saying how Tyree Nichols should have gotten beat, and then he went back on it after the body cam and all that came out.
Right.
What does it mean for all of us to be faced, as we invariably are, with really tough decisions about what?
Okay, I can't listen to no more.
We say the same thing about you, but here we are. We only doing this for the content, and we know the audience is going to love what we have to say.
Oh yeah, they got to make this one go viral. Make it go viral, y'all. Hit that like button.
Very hard for me to listen to these fools.
The feeling is mutual.
Just tell these fabricated, made up scenarios. They're just furthering the hurt and demise of black people. You're essentially. Let me tell you what this does, and I'm gonna move on. When a young black mixed kid listen to Colin Kaepernick's story,
what's a young black mixed kid?
Right. I was getting ready to say the same thing. He said a young black mixed kid.
Isn't that what he's criticizing him for, being
exactly
a black mixed
again he's doing the double speak thing. Like he says one thing at the beginning and says something completely different now. He cannot keep one cohesive story together or in check. He always is stumbling over his own talking points. But many of these grifters always do that, and their audience eats it up like it's gospel.
Yeah. Yep.
They're gonna feel like they need to embrace their black side. Why can't Colin embrace this white side?
There it goes. It took us 9 minutes and 1 second to get to the point, Rob. He said, why can't Colin, why does he have to embrace his black side? Why can't he embrace his white side?
Who said that? How is it implied that he doesn't embrace his white side?
Exactly. Like he doesn't live in this. Well, first off, I'm glad he doesn't live in this man's head, because he probably want to take his own self out. Anybody would. If this dude was like a little person living in anyone's head. I'm just being completely honest with you. But there it is. It's like I said, it took him 9 minutes and 1 second to get to the point. I'm gonna run it back just a little bit, just in case people didn't catch it.
They're gonna feel like they need to embrace their black side. Why can't Colin embrace his white side?
And notice when he was talking about it, he was referring to, as he said, the black mixed kid. His words, not ours. You know, why they're gonna want to embrace their black side? Why can't they embrace, or why couldn't he embrace his white side? Why do you care?
How does he know what a mixed person embracing their white side looks like?
That's why I'm worried about what he's teaching his child. That's why I'm worried. Like he's literally going to create a shell of himself through that kid, unless that child rebels. That'll be his worst nightmare.
Right. And which
if that child rebels against him and leans more to what Colin Kaepernick, he is mad because Colin Kaepernick went against the grain.
Right.
He wasn't supposed to do that.
Which the thing is that, like I said, in my opinion, Colin Kaepernick didn't even go against the grain. He's just being honest about his black side.
Exactly.
Like if he overly embraced his white side, and you know what I'm saying, like I'm a fist pump, you know what I'm saying, like I'm gonna be all this. If he'd done that, he would drag his parents every day, and also like just go in and overemphasize the fact that his parents weren't his adopted parents, and he would drag his white mom too. He don't do none of that.
Exactly, especially with his, like I told you, with his biological white mother, who is trash. Like I wish I could find that interview when they talked. I'm sure, like if you go on Google and just say Colin Kaepernick's real mother, the video should pop up, and that woman looks like she looks so strung out.
I was just about to ask if she had teeth.
Yeah. Well, if she did, they're right now. I'm not sure, but she looks like really like strung out. Think of Jenny from Forrest Gump.
Oh,
that's looking
like she was chewing on
that's
bricks,
that's the best way I can describe his biological mother, and I'm gonna just leave it right there.
You missed out on life because you didn't embrace this side. But what about this side? And let's keep it real. If there's a level of white privilege to be had in America, why wouldn't you want to embrace the white side?
Because he's not white, you buffoon.
And because that's lazy.
Right.
That's unethical.
You know what it is, Rob? He wants Colin Kaepernick and anyone who falls under the category or the umbrella of biracial to act like that girl on that movie Imitation of Life.
Mm-hmm.
You seen that movie, right?
Mm-mm.
You never seen the movie Imitation of Life?
Mm-mm.
Well, basically, it's an old movie that came out in the 50s about this black woman. She was a maid to this woman who was trying to break into this white woman who was trying to break into the industry as an actress. She ends up, she has a daughter, and the white woman, she has a daughter as well. Of course, the white woman's daughter is white, and the black woman, her daughter is mixed, but she could pass for white. And her white daughter literally has so much self-hate towards her biological mother. She was going around telling people she was white and all types of stuff. Like, go watch that movie and you'll understand. Yeah, it's called Imitation of Life. I think it came out in 1955. So it's a really old movie. It's a color movie. Like, I think it starts off in, it's not a black and white movie, but check that out when you get a chance, and then you'll understand why I brought that up, especially with what he just said right here.
Well, I kind of figured that because like a lot of conservatives, I don't know. Did you see that time when Fox brought on that woman who had she was a white woman and she had a mixed child and she was crying and complaining about critical race theory in a school?
Yeah.
That?
I remember that. I remember doing a video about that. I remember that. Yep. I think it happened. Yeah, it was last year.
I think it was last year.
A white woman. And I wonder, did he talk about that?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I wonder, is it their kid, him and her?
As a matter of fact, I do remember because it's in one of my. I think it's in my I think it's in my Triple P playlist. Yeah, because she got up there and made a fool of herself up there crying because her mixed child was hanging out with a different crowd. We knew what she was talking about. We knew exactly what she meant when she said that.
And see, like this is the thing. Like, pay attention to this, right? Like I said, because Colin Kaepernick doesn't. All of the like he said, you don't have to be a stereotypical black person, right? Colin Kaepernick's not a stereotypical black person.
He's not.
The false stereotype of black people that white people like Officer Tatum want to perpetuate to the rest of the world is that all black people talk with slang, all black people, have these irregular speech patterns and all that. Colin Kaepernick is very well articulate.
He is
articulated. You know what I'm saying? Like he speaks very fluently and very clear.
Exactly.
He doesn't looking at Colin Kaepernick for real. He doesn't overemphasize being black to me, but I don't have no expectation of him to overemphasize being black because I understand that dude is multicultural. So he's going to have, there's more to him than just, being black.
Exactly.
All he does is just acknowledge and embrace the black side of him. That's literally all he does.
Something this dude on the screen who has two black parents fails to do. Now that is a shame.
That's a shame.
Of course he doesn't see that as shameful because he in his mind he's just American. He probably one of the people that go around saying I don't see color.
Right.
Now this is a shameful individual that y'all see on your screen.
Right.
It's a shame when someone who is of two groups embraces their black side more than the person who is of one lineage.
Right, exactly. And to me that is just wild. You know what I'm saying? And like the thing is, I've never seen Colin Kaepernick denounce his white side.
He hasn't. He's just calling out what needs to be called out because he's putting out there that something that we who never grew up in that environment, we had our assumptions, but we were never there. So all it could be was assumptions. And he's basically letting the cat out of the bag. Like, yeah, it was nice, but it also had its bumps in the roads. And there's no problem with that. He's what they like to say nowadays. He's telling his truth.
Right.
Even though I hate that phrase, but he's basically telling his side of the story, and people are upset. And of course, it was mainly PC individuals, and I can see why they would be mad because a lot of them probably have adopted black kids and they don't want to, and they don't tell the whole story about what's going on with them. Speaking of that, I wonder, did Fakum ever do any commentary about the Hart family?
What, the Hart family? What happened with them?
The two white women that adopted those kids and they drove off the cliff?
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
You never looked into the Hart family?
Were they two LGBTQ women?
Yes, the little black boy that was going up giving random cops hugs.
Okay.
Look into that story. It's been a couple years now. That story broke me. Like, that story actually made me, when I was recording the video, actually shed tears. Reporting on that story because it was a heavy story. Because like the story itself, you didn't get all the details of it until after the fact.
Right.
It was leaning towards one way, but then once you discovered what actually went down, it was already too late. But yeah, like, look into that. Like, it's a very heavy story. It's one of them stories that a lot of people don't like to revisit because it's such a heartbreaking story.
Right.
But let's knock out the rest of this couple of minutes
so you can get all the privileges. It's all bull crap, ladies and gentlemen. This is all made up bull crap.
How would you know? Let me keep going. Let me stop.
This whole system's in place. Ain't no sitting. You know how much money Colin Kaepernick making?
Wait a minute. Did he almost say mother F and say
Yeah.
he's glitching more than Bethany Mandel.
Man, stop being stereotypical, Officer Tatum. God,
let me run that back because that was
he putting too much flavor in the food.
Right,
gentlemen, this is all made up bullcrap. This whole system's in place. Ain't no sitting. You know how much money Colin Kaepernick make?
Shout out to the neck roll. Did you see him do
Right.
the neck roll?
Oh yeah, I saw him do the neck roll. He had a he had an Isha moment. I call it an Isha moment.
Yeah, like now to all the people that's into that red pill masculinity manosphere type content. There you go, right there. That is some feminine energy, right?
This man is so called that upset at this man for literally telling his side of the story when it comes to his adopted white parents.
He mad.
Now, could you imagine? No, could you imagine if his adopted parents was there with him during the interview and what they would have said? How much more mad he probably would have been. He said they put a chip in them. They told him to say that. I bet you that's what he would have said.
Oh yeah, he would have got on that QAnon type stuff.
Right.
Making out being a victim. You know how much money he making out being a victim?
That's another talking point that I hate. They did that with LeBron a lot. Like, how are you going to call out racism and you make all this money?
What does that have to do with making the money?
As if white supremacy just stops
most
when I become a
racism
multi-millionaire.
Right, and most racism happens on the job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they own all of the places that pay the paychecks out. You know, like they're that anytime they say anything, it just comes from a standpoint of exposing the fact that they understand completely how racism works and they're trying to shout people down from talking about it.
Exactly.
Understand, this boy took a contract with Nike and made millions of dollars, and you ain't seen him put out a single unmonetized video.
And he had to make money. He has to live. He got to eat. He wasn't playing in the NFL anymore. He had to have money coming in from somewhere.
You know what? Suddenly I feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? I have a job and I have 2 monetized YouTube channels. I think just to be a better person, I'm going to turn off the monetization on my YouTube channels because I'm getting a job.
You know what? I bet you he wouldn't do it.
I bet you he wouldn't either. I bet you wouldn't. Nobody in their right mind do it.
Exactly. Only a fool would do that.
He's saving his documentary. He's not gonna give you a tell-all story. He's not gonna post on YouTube, and he gonna post where he gonna make the most money. I'm not mad at him, bro, but just keep it 100. These people, this dude is making so much money.
Why are you pocket watching? That just dawned on me.
Where does Colin get all that cash?
It just hit me right there because I didn't intend to pause it because I said, "Wait a minute, this dude's pocket watching."
Yeah, where Colin getting all that cash?
I'm surprised he didn't go all the way and ask them, "What bank are you with?" or "What banks are you with?"
Right.
Like that's literally what he's doing right now. To everyone's watching, he's pocket watching this dude, like right here. Mm-hmm. This man is jealous of him. He has that green eye envy, jealousy of this man and his whole existence.
Big jealous. I bet you Colin Kaepernick taller than him too.
Oh, most likely. Colin appears to be a pretty tall guy anyway.
Yeah, he probably like 6'2", 6'3". Tatum probably like what you think, like 4'11", 5'1".
So you saying he a hobbit?
Maybe you should talk about if you want to talk about white privilege, you experience white privilege your whole life. But they can't be honest. It's just this the mentality of just the brain is just crunching.
Wait a minute. When he said white privilege, if he experienced white privilege as he claims, then why is he not still in the NFL then? Do you know how many white players have done worse and still are employed by the NFL?
Right.
I'm trying to figure out where is this so-called privilege that Colin has according to Fakum.
What's worse, dogfighting or stealing millions of dollars from the government?
Exactly. And the person who they got, Michael Vick, wasn't even there.
Right.
It was just on his property, but he wasn't even there.
No, but
he was the fall guy because he had the name.
Right, but Brett Favre was there.
Exactly. We saw the text messages.
Right.
One of the first text messages that he sent out was, Is the media going to find out about this? That was like the first thing he sent out before it went forward.
Yep.
And we have yet to see Fakum, and probably won't talk about Brett Favre. And if he did, he would turn it into an angle where he would make Brett Favre seem like he's the victim. And those poor families just need to get off their butt, pull themselves up by the bootstraps, and work.
All right. This is an attack on white men.
Right. The audacity.
Right.
With all of this weight of fake victimhood, boy making millions and selling a book to kids about how poor is me, woe is me. I wish his parents would do an interview with me.
And if they did, I would watch that just to see them set him straight. He would be so irate. He probably like, you know what? Come back on another day because apparently you must have missed or you didn't take your Ovaltine shot. Right. I can imagine that's how he would be. Why would you want to interview his parents? You think that if you interview his parents, they're going to say something completely different? That's why I said I kind of wish his parents were there, so I could see what their reaction, would have been, or maybe even have it separate from them if they even want to talk. And the thing is, even if they did want to talk, I'm sure they would not want to talk to the likes of you.
Right.
Who are you? They probably have seen your content. Because one thing I would do is before I do any type of interview with anybody, like on a platform like this, I want to see any interviews they've done with anybody else just to see how they conduct themselves. Or if they haven't done interviews before, how do they conduct themselves as far as content and videos that they put out? You know what video I would send them? The video that I sent you, Rob. The one where he was cussing all over the place.
Right.
That's the real
Jesus.
Yes, that's the real Fakum right there, not this.
Right.
What you saw in that video, that's the real him.
And you can see the real him coming out in this video when he was, swearing and about to swear when he said MF. And then when he was motioning like he was going to choke that black lady for no reason, like for her just sitting there.
Yeah. Right. Like who would sit down? Who would want to interview you? Remember, this is the same guy that had you probably remember it or maybe you don't. It was a white guy that called into a show last year and he was having a conversation with him, and this white guy said the N-word with the hard R a couple of times, and Fakum just sat there and did not check him, at least not in a way that he should have been checked. He was so calm with it, and that was my first time putting him in the bed bucking Hall of Shame was from that moment right there.
Yep.
I remember it happened last summer, I believe.
Yep, I remember that.
And just drag him. I bet.
Hold on, let me go that back.
Woe is me. I wish his parents would do an interview with me and just drag him.
What makes you think that his parents would interview with you where they would go in here and just talk crap about the child that they raised?
Right.
Like what? Like, do y'all hear what he's saying? He wants his parents to come out and literally lambast him because in his mind, that's what Colin did to them, which he didn't do.
Right. Man, what if his parents came out and said, well, everything that Colin Kaepernick said was true? When he got cornrows, we did call him say he looked like a thug, and it was because of our worldview at the time. We since then we've grown, and now that Colin's a grown man, we've had conversations about these kind of things. But that was something that created tension in the household while he was young. What do you think he would say if they answered?
He would be fuming, and his face would turn as red as this red bar that tells you how much longer we got in this video. And he would have steam coming out of his ears, and it would make that foghorn sound like on the Looney Tunes cartoons back in the day. That is what would happen with him.
Right. It really would. It really would.
I bet Colin Kaepernick had a great life. I bet he was happy his whole life until he met that dumb black girl.
See what I tell you? I told you. I told you.
Until he met that dumb black girl.
Told you.
You called it, Rob. There's a couple of things we both called in what he was going to do because he's so predictable.
Yep.
He said, I bet he had a good life. Everything was going good for him until he met that dumb black girl. First off, how do you even know his life was that good?
Right.
Like, how do you think he thinks that because he was raised by two white people in a white household in a white neighborhood that everything was just great, which tells me and tells you and everybody watching that Brandon Fakum thinks that white ice is colder.
Yeah.
That white families are the best families and black families make some of the tackiest families on earth.
And Colin Kaepernick didn't even drag his family. Like
which tells me fake, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but which tells me Fakum, it makes me also question what was your home life like when you were a child? Is there something you would like to tell the audience?
Exactly.
What was your life like? What was you like? What was it like for you growing up?
All the rage that Fakum has is all projection.
Exactly. This is like I said, this sounds personal for him.
I want to find that child of his that's out there, not the mixed one, but the other one. and
that would be interesting.
He probably was happy living his life. His white parents putting him in the best schools possible, busting their ashy elbows in order to give him opportunity. He was doing just fine being a biracial kid living his life. I can't.
Colin Kaepernick didn't bash his parents. He didn't bash his parents. Like, here's the thing. Anybody with common sense would know that, like, even like Officer Tatum is in an interracial relationship. If he gonna sit there and say that every time him and his wife have some type of disagreement or there's never any cross-cultural issues, he's a liar.
Exactly.
That's just some normal.
Exactly.
That's to be expected. Like, you're now lying. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, because you have one cultural experience, and so does she. She did not grow up like you did, and you didn't grow up like she did.
Exactly.
I always said I wish I could be a fly on the wall in some of these homes where there's an interracial marriage just to see their day-to-day life of what it's like. Of course, me and you will see if, like, we grew up in households where both of our parents are black, so we have a certain type of experience. But then again, there could be a difference there because not every black household is the same. Right. But this guy let him tell it. Every white family is the same. So my question to him is the white family in the suburbs the same as the white family in the trailer park?
No.
I mean, because the way that he's framing it, they the same.
Right. Which that right there shows you his definition of what good is. It doesn't have anything to do with the quality of anything. It's all about the whiteness. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, the thing is, like I said, Colin Kaepernick didn't say anything bad about his parents. The only thing he said was that we had intercultural issues, which would be expected. Like I'm not looking at his parents sideways because of any of the stuff that he said, because I kind of expect that coming from white people. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, white people be on some weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really don't take into consideration differences and stuff like that. And even people that's lightweight, cool, kind of, they still be on some kind of lightweight, inconsiderate stuff when it comes to accommodating the differences of other people. And they just do that as normal because they had privilege for so long. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, all Colin Kaepernick is doing is expressing that exposure to that and how it affected him because he's the member of the family that's not white. Mm-hmm. That he didn't say his family was abusive. He didn't say they didn't provide a good life for him. He didn't say any of that.
Exactly. He didn't say none of that, but to let him tell it, that's what he's projecting, and how dare he. But see, Fakum has had an issue, and you can tell when we first started this video, he has had an issue with Colin since 2016 or 2015, whenever Colin started doing what he was doing. But then again, everyone was starting to pile on him. You know, Fakum, Jason Whitlock could not keep his name out of his mouth. Stephen A. Smith even said some things, but it was like here and there and everything like that. But it's like I said, this grifting ass Negro, we can't take anything you say seriously. That's why we spent most of this video laughing at you.
Right. Now, what do you think was in Jason Whitlock's mouth in 2016 more? Colin Kaepernick's name or kettle cooked potato chips?
Both.
Yeah, I agree.
and them kettle corn potato chips are still in his mouth now. It's probably some more stuff there too, but we ain't gonna get into that. But
right.
But yeah, I'm not gonna play the rest of this because it's pretty much the end of the video. I mean, yet again, this clown loves projecting, like we always say when it comes to him. Like I told y'all, we could probably do one video a week collab just on anything. Just pick one video out of his little Rolodex and just talk about it and go in and roast him, because like I said, it's content and it's funny to break down his talking points, and it's not hard.
It's not hard at all.
Because he's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah. His entire channel is actually like a chronicled diary of bed bucking examination.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to add. Rob, you got anything else you got to say?
Oh man, nah. The only thing that I have to say is if you guys have any comedic moments from Officer Tatum, which is literally like every video he's ever posted on YouTube, let us know. We'll react to it, and we'll all.
But hold on,
laugh.
you know what? Before we actually get out of here, I actually do want to find that thumbnail that I was telling you about, so you can see. Man, listen, when I tell you, when I saw that thumbnail, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if he has it up here while I'm still on here.
Do you think he exercises his face muscles to be able to do all those odd faces that he makes?
I don't know. I really. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Man, I hope he still has it up. Okay, I found it. Let me go ahead and I found it. Let me go ahead and share the screen one more time so y'all can see what I'm talking about. I might have to zoom in a little bit. This one right here. You see it? Let me zoom in.
Oh, yeah. It's another one about Colin Kaepernick.
Yep. Another one about Colin Kaepernick. I didn't mean to click on it, but yeah, look at it. And this was a month ago. Colin Kaepernick releases woke. There goes that word. Anti-cop docu. Oh, I know that burned him up. I know that burned him up.
Yeah, he was big mad.
But yeah, we're not going to get into that. We already got our spew for the day when it comes to this client. You can only take him in dosages. I'm just saying.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here. If y'all haven't done so already, make sure y'all go ahead and like the video, share the video, hit subscribe if you are new, click the bell to be notified. Also, be sure to check out Rob's channel, or one of his many variants, as I like to call it.
That's the variants.
Black Light Revelations too. I'm gonna leave the link down in the description so y'all can go and check his channel out as well. And with that being said, we out. Be safe and be one.
Peace.